Welcome back. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari held talks with the Nigerian community residing in South Africa. This after he had a one-on-one with President Cyril Ramaphosa during the state visit. There have been tensions between some South Africans and Nigerians after violence broke out, which led to the destruction of some foreign nationals' properties. The meeting, which was held behind closed doors, looked at the current tensions with the aim of finding a solution.
For those Nigerians that are here or elsewhere, as you can recall what happened in Ghana of recent, is a question of competition at very low levels, where there are barbers or they have small shops, whether they feel it should belong exclusively to the indigenous people of that locality or it is open to all people from all over the world. I think Nigerians know the stand of the leadership, that when you are in Rome, you do what the Romans do. When you are in a country, you study the people and the laws, and you get yourself in line with what the authorities and the people accept there. If you do anything outside the people's understanding and agreement, they will not accept it. This is a very well-known thing, and we discussed this, as I said, in depth with the president.
People who go and seek to settle in other countries, should be they South Africans in Nigeria, Nigerians in South Africa, they must live by the laws of the country they are in. And similarly with businesses, those who run businesses must abide by the laws of the country that they are running businesses in. So on this, we are unanimous, we are clear between ourselves that the rule of law must be observed by everyone who seeks to operate, to live in any of the two countries. So Nigerians in South Africa must obey the law. South Africans in Nigeria must obey the law and must also live by the tenets of the law of Nigeria, as the others should live by the tenets of the law in South Africa.
Well, as the diplomatic relations between Nigeria and South Africa remain under the spotlight, we're joined in the studio by the editor-in-chief of PR Times Africa magazine, a Nigeria-based firm that portrays the positive strides of the continent to the world. Khabir Awalled Yousuff joins us now in the studio and has been in South Africa for the past few days to see and witness for himself what has been happening following incidents of violence and attacks on foreign nationals. Khabir, thank you so very much for joining us. I understand it's your first trip to South Africa, so a warm welcome to you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Now, as a start, would you say that this week's meeting between our presidents, Buhari and Ramaphosa, in fact did what it was supposed to do in terms of mending relations? I mean, just my own personal concern is, exactly. I worry that, we've put a sort of band-aid maybe on a gushing wound. I mean, what is your analysis from where you sit?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a good thing that my president, Muhammadu Buhari, came to South Africa to meet his friend and brother, Cyril Ramaphosa. It's a very good thing. This could bring a very good relationship and mend issues that have happened in the past. This could bring a very good relationship between both nations. And just like the both presidents said, they've already said it. You can't come to somebody's country and break the rules or regulations. These both countries have rules and regulations.
Right.
Nigerians have rules and regulations. South Africa have the same thing too. But they are coming together and say, hey, look, let's put bygone is bygone. Let's put other things behind and let's move ahead and see how we can promote business relationship and other things between both nations. Yeah. And it's a good thing, it's a good movement.
Where do these tensions sort of emanate? I mean, Nigeria and South Africa in the past have sort of been brothers. I mean, we know we got a lot of support. South Africa got a lot of support during the fight for liberation from Nigeria. So, it concerns me where these sort of tensions come from. And I mean, when you're in Nigeria, what's the perception of South Africans, in the country? Is there a negative perception of South Africans?
True, there was while I was in Nigeria. But when I got here, I saw that it's a different thing entirely. The people are like us too. They are homely, they are friendly. I mean, they see. I've been working with this plot, and everybody like, hey, do you understand? There's this relationship, like this brotherliness between the both nations. I think the problem is the social media have not really helped us in this issue.
They've fueled. You feel?
Yeah, they've been feeding us people in Nigeria and Africa and outside the world with different stories, old stories.
Yeah.
And that has been raising tension. But since your president sent an envoy to Nigeria, the tension has been very, very calm. Yeah. And since I came down here, I've been going around Joburg and Victoria everywhere. I mean, trying to see other Africans to ask them questions. And I find out that, come on, this is not what we think. You know, back then in other countries, yet people see like South Africans are like this, that. No, it's not like that. They should come and see themselves too.
Yeah.
This is home. South Africa is home.
And I want to talk about your magazine,
Yes.
PR Times Africa. You know, what is your readership like, and what do your readers have to say? Because I know that there'd be a lot of opinions, and you would see a lot of the opinions coming through on the magazine. But just give us an understanding of what your magazine is all about, and the sort of feedback that you get.
Okay, fine. PR Times Africa is a Pan-African magazine and a public relation together. What we do is to sell the African story positively against that negative perception people have about Africa. Yeah. That Africa is a home of this and that, you know. So we were like, no, we have to come and change the story, change the perception. But we cannot do it alone. That's why we are working with other countries to see how we can work together and tell the story positively. That's one. If you're talking about readership, we have readership in 17 African countries. Okay. South Africa now is going to make it the 18th one, you know. And the why I came to South Africa, first thing is to come and recommend what SABC is doing in Africa. SABC to us in Nigeria and Ghana, other places have stayed. SABC is like our BBC. Yeah. SABC is like our Al Jazeera. They tell this, you know, their own style of journalism is perfect. Yeah. And we have this thing we do every year in Nigeria. It's called PR Times African CSR Award. We try to recognize individuals, corporate entities, who have been giving back to their communities, you know, like CSR. So, and this year we're like, no, SABC has been doing well, and we need to recognize them. And that's why we give them the certificate of recognition, telling them, thank you. We really appreciate what you guys are doing, and keep doing your good work. Yeah.
Well, we do appreciate that recognition. But I always wonder how difficult it could be, or how it is, you know, for a magazine like yours to sell Africa positively. I mean, you raise the BBC, CNN, all those, and sometimes you tend to see, or often rather, you tend to see, you know, the bad side of Africa shown, you know, the poverty, the hunger, the this. It's often very difficult to get a sort of positive picture of Africa painted to the rest of the world. I mean, we've just had a fantastic visit now by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and I think that they've sort of somehow managed to paint a better picture in that visit of you know, Africa. But well, they were in South Africa, but of Africa at large. But how do you sort of paint that picture of Africa being actually one of, you know, a place you can live, a place that's not full of squalor and poverty and all of that?
Okay, first and foremost, let me correct one impression. PR Times Africa is not just a magazine, it's a journal that tells the African story. Yes. I tell people that, that's one. And I tell our readership is very wide. And we have professional editors from other African countries who give us good content about the perception or the views of African and other parts of the world. Yes. You know, and as regard to the visit of the Duchess and his wife, it's something definitely that's going to be captured on this next edition of PR Times Africa, because we don't leave any stone unturned. We tell every good stories of anybody who visits Africa and anything that goes out of Africa. So we don't leave any stone unturned. We give it a good hit. Yeah.
When you leave South Africa after your trip, you know, what do you leave with that, you know, you'll try to sort of educate, I suppose, your readers on when you get back to Nigeria?
I'm going to tell the whole world through my own platform. Yeah. I'm going to tell not just Africa, not just Nigeria. I'm going to tell the whole world South Africa is a place to be. Yeah. South Africa is our United States, it's our United Kingdom. So yeah, get those issues or those stories people hear about South African, it's not it. Yeah. So they should always come here. This is home. For me, I would have loved to stay here back. Do you see these tensions as being something that, you know, we'll get over? It's just, you know, sort of, you know, how siblings fight, I suppose. Do you see it as that? Do you see it as something that we'll
move on swiftly, or that it will
My
keep
sister, there's no tension anywhere.
Yeah.
Everything is gone. Just like you talk about sibling fighting.
Yeah.
They fight in the room. They don't go outside to fight.
Yeah.
No tension anywhere. We are good as a continent. We are good as brothers.
All right.
South African, Nigerian.
Well, thank you so very much, and we hope you
Welcome.
keep that relationship with us here at SABC alive. Khabir Awalled Yousuff, of course, he has his own he's editor-in-chief of PR Times Africa magazine. So do indeed get a copy of that. In fact, if we want to get a hold of we can go online. Just give us a quick idea of how we can get it. All right, so we just search for you and we'll find it there. All right, thank you very much for that.